The last time you were here, one, you blew our minds because you and your partner Sean, y'all have a physical appearance that
Mm-hmm.
gives Black American male. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, when I remember when I first saw y'all on the screen before we had even come on, I was like, wait a minute. I mean, I thought we were talking to people from a tribal community, meaning
Yep.
Native American, which I use very loosely. I prefer, whatever language and label people want, but indigenous. And she was like, no, yeah, this is them. I was like, they look like Sean and Jay from Bed-Stuy. What you talking about? And then you
Facts.
educated us about the realities of Afro indigeneity and the fact
Yeah.
that no, there are indigenous people who look like
Mm-hmm.
me and who are
Mm-hmm.
a part of I look like them, and it was a real one of those moments where on air I'm not often surprised on air.
Right.
It's one of those moments where y'all taught me so much in our first
I love that.
conversation. So I am grateful to all of you and the work that
Appreciate
you're
it.
doing as members of the Shinnecock Nation, citizens of the Shinnecook Nation. And I remain, every time I think about that episode, I kind of chuckle a little bit because I was really like, Amina, you done got me the wrong bio.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
And
You
Amina
was
be
a little
on her
taken
game.
back.
She be on her game. So I was like, I knew this was an honest mistake.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
laugh about it, but it left an impression on me, and so I'm
Mhm.
just grateful that we get a chance to bring you all back. For people who perhaps didn't catch that episode, talk to us about your company, Little Beach Harvest, and the way that Little Beach Harvest is situated within the Shinnecock Nation, and how that entire operation works. I know some of y'all heard this the first time, so we're not going to do the whole thing, but if you could just for
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
are
Well, I'm gonna give
learning
you
about
a
you.
little play-by-play.
Yeah.
So basically, we are located on the eastern part of Long Island, in the town of Southampton, but we are not connected to Southampton because we are from the Shinnecock Nation. We are a sovereign nation that works outside the jurisdiction of New York. But we are, yes, in New York on Long Island. We've been here for since the beginning of time. My tribe's been here. I talked about before about just the resiliency of this nation and how we look the way we look because of the struggles and the adaptations that we had to go through, but all in natural look. This is how we look. We were brown skinned individuals,
Yep.
dark brown. We were products of our environment. We are harvesters, hunters, gatherers of our nation and who we were as we worked with other tribes around on this eastern end, the Montaukes, the Canarsies, the Puspatucks. Those are all sister brother tribes to us here on the eastern end. And so basically within that, we um, are now on our territory. Before, it was obviously the whole eastern part of Long Island and into Manhattan. That we were basically that was our area, but now we were moved into our burial grounds where we are about, I would
Mm.
say, give or take 1,400 square acres, and we are a tribe of about 1,200 or so individuals. Not all live on territory. There are some more than 1,200. That's just all that is accounted for at the moment. We are now opening up our polls to bring in more individuals who may have lineage to Shinnecock as well. So we're growing as we go, finding out our lineage and bringing more people back to the fold. That's important, bringing everyone back home. And so right now though, Little Beach Harvest, right? We are um, so we are a cannabis dispensary, right? But we're a cannabis dispensary that's for the nation, for the community, for everywhere around us. All we don't look to just have that in and out service with people. We look to make relationships with our people, and we curate our products and everything like that to support our community. We are really community oriented, from down to our events, down to the products that we have, and the way that we basically talk and interact with our community.
Mm.
We are governed by the Shinnecock Council, which is the CRD, our Cannabis Regulatory Division. They
Mm.
are the ones who basically insured us and gave us our licensee. We are the very first licensed tribe here on Eastern Long Island, and we govern ourselves within that. So what that means is we adhere to New York State of how they want things and how things should be tested. We have all our products tested, but we do not work under the OCM license. So basically, we make sure in the guidelines that everything's above T testing, um, full panel, making sure the products are right. Go everything must get tested before it walks through the doors. But the way that we operate is we don't really have a level of what you're allowed to have. In New York, you could do 5 make gummies. We're allowed to do 5, 10, 15, 50, 100. We have 100 make gummies, 100 make edibles, and we do indoor growing. Our stuff is just, I would say, a little bit more, fresher,
Mm.
so to
More
speak.
seasoned by the
Yeah,
sun.
yeah, and variety for sure,
Mm.
within the market. But we like to make sure that this place is ran the right way, and it's for our community. We have all our events that we have that take place here are community driven and community supported, and we just continue to rise and build that kind of interaction because this is why we're here. This is why we do it for. We want to make sure that the people who are coming here not only have a place where they can find their recreational and medicinal purposes, but they can also find relaxation and support and comfortability for where they want to participate in those things. Because a lot of the times, obviously, growing up, especially being someone of my own complexion and hue, and growing up in the Bronx and growing up out here, you have to be conservative of how you could consume. You either
Yeah,
have your
yeah.
friend's house or you have somewhere else. That was probably your least favorite place to go smoke. And relax and stuff without having to worry about the pressures of the law or anything else like that. So having a
Right.
place like this where we have consumption available for everybody is really giving it back to our community and letting them know that, listen, you don't have to go high, you don't have to do these things. We're giving you a space to be yourself, and
Mm.
that's really where people fall in love with us as a nation and as a business, as a company.
I love
So
that.
that's where we're at right now. We're rolling
Yeah.
into new phases of becoming more in the light of those things, more into the atmosphere of people understanding, like, yo, we're here as a support system to you guys who need us. And you like here on the eastern end, it you only have a certain amount of people in a town. They're bound by this by townships, and everyone knows each other. And not everyone wants to travel all far. You want to make sure you're accessible to everybody and you're able to give them what they need.
Right.
So that's what we're really honing in for, and people are loving us, and we're seeing that as we go into the second year.
I love this. And one of the things that when you were talking about the different milligrams, because you said 5, then you
Yep.
said 10. I was like, okay, where
Hmm.
he going with this? Then you said 50. You
Yep.
said 100.
50s,
I,
hundreds. I
I
can
was
do
like,
1,000 meg if I want
don't
it.
do it. Don't.
Yeah,
There's
I
too
can do
much
it.
for the people
A
to
big
take.
wheel. We could put a big wheel, make it 1,000 meg, and you can peel that thing off like orange slices. You know what I'm
Listen, I
talking
was at an event not so long ago. The I'm gonna purposely blur all details so
about?
that people to
Let it
protect the
know.
innocent. A friend happened to consume
Uh huh.
what on the package said, it was 50 milligram edible, and they shared it between the two. Now I was like, listen, y'all really not about this life. Y'all probably want to take a third, a quarter of that half. Like
Yep.
you really not. Let me tell you, the night moves on, and y'all, this is why you got to pay attention to the milligrams. You got to pay
Yep.
attention because if you are going to consume edibles and you never have before, you really don't need to be shooting for the stars. Stay
No,
low
you
to the
do not.
ground because
Find
one of
that.
them. Listen, 2 hours later, one of them had to go to get their kids, and I looked at him and I was like, mm, you ain't gonna do that tonight. No, what you gonna do is spend the night here. And I was like, and they were like, no, I'm fine. And they had this little smile on their face, just smiling.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, another person was like, I'll follow them and make sure they get to where they got to go. Child, Jay, they went. 5 minutes later, ding dong, we hear the doorbell, and it wasn't my house. I was like, who that at the door? They came back. They were like,
Yeah, of course.
don't think we're gonna be making that trip.
Yeah, for
I
real.
told you. I
Yeah,
told you. So the fact that y'all can do all those milligrams, y'all just because it can be done, don't mean it's being done for
you
you.
can.
You have to have some
Mhm.
guidance about this thing. But that's why, Jay, it matters where you consume these things, because if you're
Yeah.
consuming it in a safe space, in a
Mhm.
beautiful environment that is close to nature, you're going to have an amazing, wonderfully safe time.
For
Then you're not
sure.
going to get behind any vehicles. You're going to just stay there and take in all
Amen.
the beauty of that space. So there's a word of caution for you out there. Y'all heard those numbers. I know
Yeah,
some of
I
y'all got
heard
real
it.
hype. Chill, son. Like
Relax.
stay
Find
close to the
find
ground.
your level. Find
Yes.
your level.
Find your level and find it safely when you don't have to go to work or no one's
That's
and you don't
right.
have to go pick up your kids after you hanging out with the
Definitely.
girls. That's just a little joke, a little bit of fun, a little bit of levity to help us elevate a bit.
For
But you
sure.
all are preparing, as are many, for a pretty significant day coming up. That 420 we know is a time
Mhm.
of real intentional celebratory fetes for people who all across who participate and who partake. And it just so happens one of my team members reminded me that this year 420 also falls on Easter. So it's going to be
Easter.
a high holy
Yes.
opportunity for celebration, a
Yes.
high holy holiday. Talk to us about what you all have planned
For
out there
sure.
for Little Beach Harvest.
Yeah, so my 420, as I'm sure many of people who are in this industry, they've been planning this thing for, you know, I've been planning this since summer. You know, things happen, things change, but
You
we're
plan it
still having
for
them.
420 the way they prepare for Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
As soon as
facts.
Mardi Gras done, you
Yo,
prepare for the next one.
yeah, you have to. I originally was going to do a 2 day, but we're going to lock it in for that one holy day on that Sunday. You know what I mean? We're going to grab
Wow.
everybody in. And so we're going to do a 12 to 10 p.m. Day. You know, it's a full day. I have DJs, I have music, I have vendors, I have bands coming out, local artists. This is really
Wow.
going to support. And it brings back to what I'm talking about with the support of your community. I have access to, you know, a lot of other clientele and music, but I thought about it and I was just like, I did it last year and I had a lot of local talent and people loved it. You know,
Mhm.
local talent brings local people, you know. So I was like, you know, let me redo that. Let me do that again. So I grabbed a few of the bands, Rum Punch Mafia, Roses Grove Band, a few other artists, even artists from the tribe here, from the nation. I have singers from the nation. I have a lot of artists within rapping. That King Charles, FMYK, Gianni, VV, the like a nonchalant. These are all people in the tribe who, you know, are inspiring to be somebody, and they just need a platform. And they've been here before, so why not continue? Let this not only be their home as because they're on tribal land, but also let this place right here be their home for them for having, you know, reach to when they're not out doing a tour or something like that. So I wanted to make sure that I still kept it local and home based because they're really good and they just a lot of these people they get the buzz but they don't have the outlet. So let's
Mm.
be the outlet for them, you know. And I'm bringing a lot of local talent in. I have vendors from the tribe. I have a couple other food vendors that I have come in, like a steak truck, Argentinian steak truck, a Puerto Rican and Dominican steak truck. We're doing a lot of different things. I'll have games going. I have a huge globe tent that will be I ordered 2 smoke guns, so we'll have some smoke guns going off into that tent. So hopefully you guys have strong enough lungs to to take that. I did that last year, man. I'm telling you, people were walking out from the tent and they were like eyes bloodshot, sweating. But they were like, that was amazing. I love it. I'm looking at them like, whoa, you're crazy. Because I
It
remember when
sounds like a fumigated smoke lodge.
I can't even do it anymore to where I used to like really hotbox a car with my cousins. We would sit in the car, we'll smoke like 3, 4 blunts, the windows up, music playing, and it's just smoked out hotboxing there. Man, now I'm doing like maybe a blunt and a half in the car with the windows rolled up. And because we're not, but also we're not smoking little blunts, we're smoking, some 2
See,
points. Yeah, and that's and it's
he
like
just
the
made me get.
supposed
I'm like, now I want a snack just having this conversation.
I gotta open up the door. I'm like, man, I need some air. They're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, it's different now. But we'll have those tents going. We'll have a lot of fun games, lifestyle like chess, checkers, a lot of games, photo booths, um,
Hmm.
a lot of interacting. A lot of fun for people to just be a part of. I'll have some vendors from the tribe who want to do some art, some arts and craft. Showing out their work because, like I told you, it's about just bringing in. I just need people to understand that they have a place here.
Mm.
It's not about just cannabis. It's if you make beads, if you make beaded necklaces, if you make all kinds of regalia, pillows, whatever the case may be, whatever your art hobby, whatever it has a place here because your culture is wanted and needed.
Mm.
And I need that here to also express who we are. And no better way than having actual people from the tribe be here at an event that is for them. Like, even though this event is for the cannabis culture community, this event is for them. Everything that I do here, and even down to the 4% tax that we give back to the community, it's all here. It's rooted here. So I just want to incorporate whatever way that looks like by having them be here, regardless of the event. It's just about having some kind of representation. Even when I go out to other places, when I go out to other conferences and other events, I want to make sure that if we're doing a pop up, we're represented right.
Mm.
I want to have my whoever is on staff here who's indigenous. They're going to be the ones out there being the face of the brand because that's what the brand is. That's
Yeah.
who we are. We're Shinnecock. It's important to set that standard, and then when you come to here, you see that it's a wide group of people who work here because it's not just indigenous people who work here. We hire everybody, but when it's out there in the world, I want you to understand that this is a native business, and we're out here doing that. So that has to be represented from everything, not only on here, but when we're out in the other side of the other world.